Okay, so we're starting with the squat. The feet are going to start just outside shoulder width apart. The shoulders are going to roll back away from the ears, keep the chest nice and high. We're going to bend, break at the hips, so the hips go back and down. And on the upward phase, drive through your heels and squeeze your bum. So we'll just do that again. Bum just comes parallel to the floor, shoulders back, break, keep the abs nice and braced. So we're going to go for a reverse lunge with a reach back. Starting position, shoulders are back, abs are braced nice and tight, hands are hanging down by the sides. The first movement, you're going to step back with your right leg so that the left knee is bent at 90 degrees and the back leg is about 1 inch off the floor. The arms are going to come up and you're going to reach to the opposite side of that back leg. And then you're going to reverse that movement, so you're going to come back in and back to the starting position and repeat with the left leg. So the left leg comes back, 1 inch off the floor for that back knee, right knee bent at 90 degrees, reaching over to the other side, and we're just reversing that movement. The next exercise we've got is a wide grip push-up. We're going to start with the hands just wider than the shoulder width apart. We're going to lift up onto the toes, back stays nice, flat, long and strong, and we're going to lower the body so the chest gets just as close to the floor as possible and push back through the hands. And we'll repeat that, keeping the back nice and flat and the hips up. An option is to drop to the knees, and then we're just going to repeat that movement. So keeping the chest as close to the floor as possible, and then really engaging that core on the upward phase. Okay, so the next exercise is going to be a mountain climber. We're going to assume a press-up position, so the hands start under the chest, the back stays nice and flat, straight line from shoulder through to hip, down to ankle, and we're going to drive the right knee forwards into the chest and reverse, and then we're going to repeat the same with the left leg. And then as you get more and more confident with that movement, you can pick the speed up so that it almost comes into a little bit of a jog. The idea is the back stays nice and flat, the bum stays low, and the core stays engaged. So we've got a walking high knee. KT, you're going to stand tall with your feet shoulder width apart. Shoulders back, abs braced nice and tight. The first movement, the left knee is going to come as high as you can, and we're going to step forwards, and we're going to repeat on the other leg. It's driving that knee nice and high. An option if you're struggling for balance is to hold on to the knee as you move forwards, but it's all about driving that knee nice and high, bracing those abs, keeping those shoulders back.
This is the sprint. Begin at your jog pace and gradually build the speed up till you come into a sprint. Remember to keep the chest lifted, the shoulders relaxed, and breathe naturally as you run. When you're ready, bring the pace back down to a jog and then into a walk to come to a stop.
We're going to do a jump squat. So to set up technique, first of all, we need to make sure the feet are just outside the shoulders and the toes are turned out slightly. The abs are nice and braced, and just relax the shoulders back and down just to open up the chest for good posture. And from here, we're just going to bend the knees, just bringing the bum right back and down. And then from there, we're just going to spring up from the toes and just add in a little jump, and then repeat again. So just bend the knees, lift up, springing up from the toes. And then for a harder option, we're going to go straight up and fall right back down into that squat, just to get the heart rate up a little bit more and make it a little bit harder. Okay.
The next exercise we've got is a wide grip push-up. We're going to start with the hands just wider than the shoulder width apart. We're going to lift up onto the toes. Back stays nice, flat, long and strong. And we're going to lower the body so the chest gets just as close to the floor as possible and push back through the hands. And we'll repeat that, keeping the back nice and flat and the hips up. An option is to drop to the knees, and then we're just going to repeat that movement. So keeping the chest as close to the floor as possible, and then really engaging that core on the upward phase.
We're going to perform a wide stance plank with opposite arm and leg lift. Okay, so to begin this exercise, what we need to make sure is that our hands are just underneath the shoulders. Okay, then just lift up onto the toes, lift the knees up. The feet are nice and wide to give you stability. Okay, then from here, just keeping the trunk nice and still and the back's nice and flat, so a nice neutral spine with the bum down. We're just going to lift up the right arm and at the same time lift up the left leg. Okay, making sure those hips stay really nice and square to the ground, and then just switch opposite sides. Okay, so to make this a little bit easier, we're just going to drop down to the knees and perform the exercise exactly the same. That's good. Okay, all right, well done, good work. We're going to perform a burpee. Okay, so to begin this exercise, we just start with the posture nice and tall, you know, the feet under the hips, the abs are nice and braced, shoulders are all back and down. Then we're just going to bend the knees and bring the hands down to the floor and step the right leg back and then the left. Then we lower the torso down so the chest comes down to the floor. Then lifting back up, stepping the feet back in and then back to neutral position. Okay, so to make this a little bit harder, as we come down, bend the knees again. Okay, now we're going to jump back, lower the chest, then jump back in and then lift up nice and tall in a jump. Okay, so let's go again. So just bend the knees, lifting back up, jumping nice and high. This is going to elevate the heart rate. One more, well done. Good work. The jump lunge, to set up technique, we need to make sure we start with our feet just outside the hips. Posture's nice and tall, just be mindful of having a nice neutral spine with the belly button nice and braced. Okay, and then we're just going to step the right leg back, a nice long stride with the back heel up. We're just going to lower the knee down to the ground, just 1 inch from the ground, and then we're just going to jump up nice and high. Okay, well done, and then switch legs. So just be mindful to make sure you keep that trunk nice and still and just power up from the legs. And to make this harder, we're just going to continue to lunge from one leg to another. Okay, that's good, well done.
So we're now going to be mobilizing our thoracic spine. So interlacing your fingers behind your head, lift the chest up and pull the shoulders back. Then rotate over to the left until you can feel the ribs opening up. Hold for 30 seconds on one side and then slowly rotate over to the other side. Very good, Sarah. Well done.
This exercise is the cat and camel stretch. David, if you're going to come down onto all fours. And what I'd like you to do is take a big deep breath in. Tilt your lower ribs towards the floor, round your upper back up to the ceiling and hold that stretch. And then exhale, and as you breathe out, drop your chest towards the floor, bring your chin up slightly and feel the stretch through your back. Well done, David.
We are now going to be stretching the hamstrings. So if you want to step in with your right foot forward, bend your left knee, place your hands over your left hip, lift your torso up and push your bottom out. Hold the stretch until you feel a nice comfortable pull onto your hamstrings for about 30 seconds and then switch legs. Okay, we're now going to be stretching the glutes. So lying down onto a gym mat. If you bend both knees, then place your right foot over your left knee. Then lifting both legs up, interlace your fingers behind your right knee and pull gently until you feel a nice comfortable stretch into your glutes. Hold for 30 seconds, then repeat on the other side. So until you feel the stretch, and then release and relax. We are now going to be stretching the quads and the hips. So lying down on a gym mat, onto one side, grasp your left ankle with your left hand, keeping the knees in line, pushing the hips forward in order to increase the stretch onto hip flexors and onto the front of the thighs. Hold for about 30 seconds on each side and then repeat on the other. we're gonna switch to the other side, so rotate to the other side. Bend both knees, legs together, hips forward, and stretch. So we're now gonna be stretching the calves. So with your feet hip width apart, if you step back with your right foot, bend your left knee and push your right heel down into the ground until you find a nice comfortable stretch onto a calf. Then hold for 30 seconds and repeat to the other side. So if you want to switch legs, left leg back, push your heel down and hold the stretch. You can hold your hands by your hips. So we're now going to be stretching your IT bands. So beginning with your feet hip width apart, step in with your left foot forward and lift your right arm up. Then feel the right hip traveling up towards the ceiling until you feel a nice stretch onto the side of your thigh. Keep the knees nice and soft and hold the stretch for up to 30 seconds on each side. Very good, Sarah.